Hello, everyone, and welcome to our monthly CRM user group call. Usually I share my video, but I am in a dark room with a migraine today, highly medicated. So I am not going to share my video today, but I'm excited to talk to everybody and talk about how everyone's year went. And then we're going to talk about 2022 and some of your CRM goals and what you might be setting for yourself as far as CRM specific or data specific goals. We'll go around, and if you'll introduce yourself, say your name, your title, the company that you're with, and then if you'll share your geographic location, since we're all spread out, that would be helpful. And then also what you are most proud of as far as your accomplishments with CRM or data for 2021. And then if you've set any goals for 2022, share those in your introduction. I am Courtney CKearney, founder and owner of CKearney Consulting. We are a CRM and data management consulting firm for the AEC industry. And one of the things that I'm most proud of for 2021 is that I have written a book about CRM and data for our industry. And we have submitted it to the publisher, hoping to get a date for when that will be out soon. But that is my yay for 2021. As far as our goals for 2022 goes, really setting goals specifically around some of the book analytics is a fun new challenge for us because we've always been so service driven that setting goals for a tangible thing like a book feels very different from a marketing analytics perspective. So I'm excited to get into that newness or change a little bit. I will go through my list on the right, so hopefully I don't miss anybody, but Zoom does jump around on the participants list. So if I do miss someone, please just let me know. We'll go Natalie and then Courtney Vance.
Of course, you've got a whole list of stuff I have to answer. So I'm Natalie Price. I'm from Kraus Anderson Construction Company, a general contractor out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. I am the manager for the Marketing Information Services Group. And just off the top of my head, I think for 2021, probably I'm most proud about is that just our ramped up efforts on reporting, and that our executives and team leaders are really using it finally and trusting it to make decisions. And 2022, I think getting better with the publisher piece as it relates to resumes and updates and staff hours and stuff like that. That's what we want to do for 2022.
Thank you. And for those that have joined us, I have dropped into the chat what you can share in your introduction. I forgot to say that I was in the DFW area in Texas, so I did forget that about myself. All right, we'll go Courtney Vance and then Dave.
Hi, I'm Courtney Vance. I'm a project manager at CKearney Consulting. Most proud of for 2021, I think I'm going to have to share in Courtney's proud moment in the book. I was lucky to be able to pre-read it, and it is awesome. I can't wait to get a copy. Goals for 2022, for me personally, looking into more automation tools that could be connectable to the CRM system and seeing how we can leverage those for different uses. Oh, and I'm also in North Texas as well.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us and for sharing. Dave, we'll go to you and then Denise.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And thanks for inviting me, by the way. So our goal, so we are a CRM company, so we don't have really goals around using the CRM. We use our own CRM for sure here, but 2021, we focused a lot on growing the product and growing our customers, and then also building a team around top builder of the company. And we were very successful with that. We added a lot of things to the product and a lot of customers that are using it, and a lot of new employees and team members. But then, so for next year, really our goal for 2022 is going to be around education and educating our customers and trying to share the experiences we have, because we have experience with both construction and CRM, and we have a lot of experience working with a lot of different construction companies. So we want to share that experience. So I'm going to be doing speaking engagements, hopefully with you, Courtney, and just trying to share some of this knowledge and some of the best practices we've learned over the years. And maybe one of the goals will be to read your book too. So so yeah, and I am the president, I'm the founder. You asked what our role was. So I am the president, I'm the founder. And then we're in Houston, Texas. So we're just south of you.
Excellent. Texas is representing today. Well, thank you for joining. And I think that is a great goal for 2022. Just a selfish one, I think, is good. So I will back that one. All right, we'll go Denise and then Erika.
Hi, everybody. My name is Denise Yancey, and I work at Atna Environmental. We're actually a group of 5 subsidiaries of the Atna Corporation, which is one of the Alaska Native corporations. My group does environmental cleanup, environmental inspections, that kind of thing. We also do construction and professional services primarily. And we're in Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's cold here. My greatest accomplishment in 2021 is getting more data into the system so that it's actually useful on a daily basis from a lot of different angles, not just for the PMs, but for everyone who has access to it. And a goal that we're setting for 2022 is getting the financial data connector connected to it so that our hours that the people have worked automatically go in, that kind of stuff. And to use Publisher more, because I thought that was a real selling point for it, to actually use this data to fill out proposals that are just, fill in the blank kind of things. We don't have to recreate the wheel every single time. That's what I'm hoping. And that's it.
Awesome. I'm excited to see you next week or in a couple days. I will be in Alaska myself, so don't scare me too bad because this Texas girl is going to freeze and be a popsicle. But I will make it work. All right, so then we will go Erika.
Hi, my name is Erika Curtis. I'm the marketing and communications specialist at CKearney Consulting. I am brand new to this industry and brand new to this job. So I will say that my goal for 2022 is to learn as much as possible. And I'm excited to start here. This is my first user group meeting, and I think I can learn a lot from all of you.
Welcome. We're excited to have you. Good transition. I'll say thank you for Stacy for the reference for Erika. So that is fantastic. So we'll let Stacy introduce herself.
Yeah, thanks. Stacy Ho. I am now with OTAC as their CRM and market data manager. I know, right? I'm super excited. That was basically my #1 accomplishment for the year. Aside from the fact that 3 weeks after I started, we made a switch from Vision to Vantage Point, which I'm still reeling from. And my goals definitely for 2022 are to make better use of Vantage Point for OTAC. And that includes, a whole bunch of different things, including, how we're tracking and dashboarding our opportunities, and then hopefully eventually long-term how we're using our proposal module. So there's so much to do here. Like you said, Denise, that's definitely, I feel like I'm in the same place. So those are my long-term goals, and I'm sitting in Portland, Oregon.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, we'll go Jill and then Nora.
I'm Jill Aronson. I am a marketing coordinator at HR Green, and I am located in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We are actually upgrading to Vantage Point now. So this year I went through the CAP program and we did a lot of data cleanup and stuff like that, which felt good. So for 2022, it'll just be rolling that out and creating some really good training so we can increase our user adoption and stuff like that.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Nora and then Jen.
Hi, my name is Nora Tadich. I am the CRM administrator and analyst for Jacobson Construction. We are a GC out of Salt Lake City. For 2021, I would say our biggest accomplishment was the project record data cleanup and input. We spent the majority of the year gathering data, getting it entered into the system. Huge chunk of data was cleaned up, but obviously there's always more to do. And then also the proposal automation and using Publisher. So we just recently are implementing that along with implementing open assets. So we're super excited about that, which will continue into 2022. So that's going to be a big push, is to really start utilizing that Publisher and proposal automation, and then also increase user adoption with some of our user groups, and formalize some of our business development processes with our opportunity records.
Fantastic. Y'all have been busy this year. This is exciting. All right, Jen.
Hi, Jennifer Batchelder with Micron General Contractors based out of Dallas, Texas. So this prior year, we have focused on realizing the value of the data that we have and what those analytics look like, which has kind of changed how we've done things in the past. So we've kind of readjusted to better those analytics, which means a lot of backfilling and cleaning up of data, that maybe was input in a particular format or way, that now that everybody's actually using it and looking at the data, we're like, oh, okay, well, that didn't really work quite that way. So probably a goal for this next year is focusing on as much project data and information as we can gather accurate. We're connected to our financial data system, but not all the information that we as marketers want is always available there. So backfilling and making sure we capture that going forward.
Definitely see a pattern that this year has been a lot of data cleanup and data management, which is great. So one of the questions that I have for you guys, and this is meant to be your forum, so I'm just here to facilitate. Obviously, if you have questions, drop them in the chat, unmute yourself and ask. But one of the questions that kind of was coming to mind as you guys were talking is more about the process piece of things. So I'm curious if anybody spent time documenting their data management process. So whether that's things like, Jen, you were talking about, one of your examples was like your hours and things. So documenting, all right, when our people enter their time, they enter it into a Jira, which gets funneled to these 3 places. Like, did anybody go through the process to map any of their data flow through different systems in their company?
Ours are still in transition. So as we try processes, we realize we need to change this, that, and the other thing. And then we keep going down rabbit holes. So until it settles down more, it's really hard, to say this is the process.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel that. I'm sort of developing it. Actually, I've started using Mural to whiteboard it. I'm sort of new to the system. So part of it for me is to visualize the flow of an opportunity lifecycle when I wasn't with the firm before, and then to interject where I feel like they need improvement. So I found Mural to be really helpful to sort of build out that flow chart, so to speak, flow diagram. I can build a parking lot and I can build other areas of discussion on the Mural board. And then I can bring it up in each call I have. Yeah, see, there you go, Courtney's on it. I really like using Mural to visualize it, but I definitely am going to need somebody to make it pretty and add all that guidance later. But yeah, I think that's key is documenting that process.
Especially when you're new, I feel like it's the, that's one of the things that I always ask our new team members. So that's something Erika's going through right now, is just documenting everything that when you've been here for a long time, you forget about. Like things like, where in the world is the payroll calendar? You're like, oh, well, sorry. Yes, we should have a better documentation place, or whatever that, example is. But I think that when you're new, like, you get to ask some of those questions that are more tolerable. So things like, hey, when I enter my time, what happens? Like, where all does that data get used? Jill, I see you're unmuted. Did you have something? Just kidding. My little box was over your thing and made it look like you were unmuted. Sorry, my little chat window. I got excited.
No, I can add to what Stacy and Denise were saying with working on our processes. So we did have a set process for our opportunities and that, business development process, and it was documented, written down, and then we're now at the end of the year and it's completely, no one's following it, even though it's documented. So when my 2022 goal that I mentioned, formalizing that business development process, is really kind of looking back at that and seeing what went wrong. Why are we not following the process that we decided on, that we set forth? And, I think the end of this year brought in a lot of changes for us as well. And, maybe that's something that we need to look at, those changes and how those are going to affect the process in the future.
Yeah, I've been telling people I like to make New Year's unresolutions. I don't like resolutions. I like unresolutions. How much can we get rid of? What can we stop doing? What is nobody using? That's the kind of resolution I like.
Marie Kondo everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. Did anything else stand out to anyone as far as like patterns that they were hearing about people's 2021 or 2022 that you guys want to talk about as a group?
I'm curious. I heard publisher come up a lot, and using proposal modules come up a lot. And it's ironic. I was just having a conversation with my marketing manager, who's been here. She and I have been in S&PS, known each other for 20 plus years. And we were saying how we've only ever seen that module implemented a very minute, fine number of times and successfully used to generate resumes a lot. And I'm curious, like, is anyone currently using it very successfully? And for all those of you that are wanting to, what has been the holdup or blockage? Or
We use it for all of our resumes.
Awesome.
We're just waiting for our financial data connection so we can get the projects into the system. We don't have any projects.
Yeah, our holdup was the project data. We do have the connector with their financial system, but as was mentioned earlier, not a lot of the data that we actually need for resumes was documented. So that's really what the majority of our 2021 was gathering that data, getting it in the system. So now we're finally at the point where we can start using the publisher and the proposal automation. And so far the training and where we're at has been going really well, and our marketing team is super excited for it. And also implementing Open Asset as our dam, which we did not have any sort of dam in the past. So that's been really exciting, and we're really looking forward to getting through that implementation and really just starting the whole proposal automation process.
I'm
That's
curious,
awesome.
Nora, going through the Open Asset, and I'm pretty sure that you guys have Uninet CRM by CoCentral. Are you guys doing the pulling and all of that for your resumes out of Open Asset, or are you just pulling it out of Publisher and then using Open Asset for the photography? How did you guys work that out?
Yeah, that's what we decided on, is to use the Publisher out of Uninet, and we're simply using Open Asset for our digital asset management and organizing our digital asset. And the primary reason for that is that publisher, you have more options and ability to create more templates, whereas with open asset, it limits you to how many templates you can have, and then they also have to input it and create it for you. So by utilizing Uninet, we have more control over that.
Okay. Very good. And Stacy, Vantage Points, I know at one point they had it on their roadmap to bring back the InDesign aspect. Has any more conversation been brought up about that?
Yeah, they just launched 4.5, which I believe has proposal module now for InDesign. I'd have to look at that again. I actually haven't gotten that far yet, but I know it's either in 4.5 or it's coming very soon. The proposal module itself is all now in Vantage Point. I know there was some that was left behind, but that's all there now and functioning. So, you know, resume data, project description data, you can see now. I haven't actually done any template testing, but I assume it's coming. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I guess Jen, I guess you're the one that, or Natalie too. I know you guys use it a little bit. For publisher, do you have any like big lessons learned or like pitfalls to avoid that you would share with the group as far as pushing resumes and stuff like that out of the CRM?
I mean, I think as you know, true to kind of what we do, it's kind of baptism by fire, and it's a lot of trial and error and figuring out, you know, consistent formatting and where your data is coming from. You know, making sure for us, you know, getting that prior history, prior employment, you know, project work, so that those, you know, those are reflected on the resume as well. But I mean, it's a pretty seamless process for us. We use it for resumes. We use it for project profiles. We use it for generating the project list for our AIA 305. We use it for, we have a list of industrial projects basically by size and revenue that we were manually updating as an InDesign file. And I was like, okay, well, that's kind of ridiculous because the information's here in CoCentral. So, you know, we created, you know, a report and a project list that we can use for that. But, you know, as with anything, I mean, it's about maintaining the data and, you know, trusting the data. But I can't imagine doing it any other way, honestly. It's really, you know, it's a bit of a game changer when it comes down to those last minute deadlines and getting the information and knowing that I don't have to make the same correction to something, you know, that I've made 5 times previously because somebody's brought it over from an old proposal. As long as it's coming out of CoCentral, you know, it's pretty reliable.
Question on your process. So do you guys have any sort of annual review of your resumes where your technical staff is like signing off on their resume? Is that part of their review or is it one time a year?
We don't, because, you know, we're connected to our financial system. So anytime somebody charges time to a project, that comes over and shows up on their resume. And, you know, we can look at the hours charged against that project on an individual basis and know, hey, did they truly work on that project? Or did somebody accidentally hit it for an hour of time? Or, you know, did they do something minor that it really doesn't count as their experience? And, you know, for our resumes, it's a pretty generic format in that, you know, it lists the project, it lists, you know, project name, city, square footage, what market it is, whether it was new or renovation. So it's pretty basic information. We use essentially the same description for every, you know, every project. So, you know, really we have current data all, you know, all year long. We're not waiting, you know, to do it at annual reviews or, you know, et cetera.
Yeah, that's good.
And we have a process in place that when we bring on a new hire, they, you know, they get a form from marketing that gives us some information that's not captured anywhere, as well as a form to give us prior project history. You know, we get their resumes, but doesn't always give us the details that we're looking for. So that's just part of the new hire package that they give them on the initial hiring package, and comes back to us usually pretty quickly. And I mean, obviously that's a manual process to key that information in, but it allows us to know, when somebody joins the firm, what type of project experience do they really have? If we're looking at a particular project type, we can, enhance that search by looking at people who may be new and don't have a lot of Micron experience, but have a lot of industry experience in general. So that's, even just because it was yesterday, one day this week, Charlie, our president and CEO, he's like, hey, how do I look at this guy's experience? And you send him to the link to the performance summary or to the, I don't remember what it is in Cosential, but he can go and look and, see the experience that he has right there. And, instead of having to stop and generate a resume for somebody to look at. But I mean, if you're not doing it, I would encourage you definitely to carve out the time to make it happen, because it saves a ton of effort.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the key things that you said too is that trust factor, like taking the time to know that it's trusted data. Natalie, I saw you unmuted.
I mean, it's little things like, I hate the ampersand. I mean, I'm of the opinion that you spell out the word "and" unless it's part of a company's name. And so, going back and pulling old proposals, it's like I would fix the same ampersand a million times. I'm like, okay, this, so I don't have to look at that stuff anymore. It's clean, it's easy, it's a quick review and done.
Courtney, I have a quick question for the group. For people who do use the proposal, what's their threshold of hours for giving people credit as a project on their resume? Because we have vetted this publisher piece several times, and I think we're going to finally do it. But what is it to give them credit?
Depends on how desperate I am.
That's true. That's
if it's if we're stretching the truth per se to try and make somebody fit a particular mold, then give me an hour and I'm good. But otherwise, I'm looking for genuine experience.
I think it depends a little bit too on the size of your project.
Of 40 hours.
We do about 20 to 25.
I have seen some clients that will that limit their resume population through reports by linking those to the resumes. So that is also helpful if that's something you're not currently doing, is to build out those reports and link them to kind of filter out some of those projects.
Well, and if you're just starting, you could start high, like 50, because that's already a lot, and then go down to 40 or 25 as you build out the resume.
Honestly, though, by the time we're using somebody in a proposal and putting a project, they generally have the experience or the hours on it. It's not, it's a rarity that we're stretching it that much, but.
Jill, I see you're unmuted. You can.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you guys are talking about the resumes. We do ours a little different. And the way that our template is set up, the employee has to have a role and a role description in the employee info center in order for it to populate onto their resume. And that way they get to decide when they've made a notable contribution to a project and want it on their resume. And then also marketing also has that information, their role description, when we need to use it in a pursuit. And then we just do like a yearly resume review for everyone and merge their resume from the database and send it to them and let them know, this is what it looks like right now. Do you want to add any projects, remove projects? Then we can remove ones that are super old that we don't really want to use in proposals anymore. And that's worked really well for us.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Jill. I was going to say, I kind of I'd rather know it and not be restricted. So having constraints, I know, Natalie, I think what you're kind of asking to, or what you guys have played with, is restricting what comes over from the financial data connector. And, they have to reach a certain threshold before they come over. I'm of the mindset of that makes me distrust or wonder if something's not working or if something's broken. So I kind of tend towards give me everything and then let me run the reports and tweak it or control it in my CRM versus making me wonder if the algorithm broke or if, oh crap, this person, if it would have been valuable at 3.5 hours, but we cut it off at 4, so it's not showing up, or getting caught in the situation of a guy going, I was on this project. Why is it not showing up? Well, this whole system is crap. And then you go, well, wait. You charge 3.5 hours. It's a threshold of 4. The system isn't crap. But in the moment, you don't know that. So you don't know how to defend yourself. So I'm always of the school of thought of like, bring it all and then let me filter, let me control everything. But that's just, a different perspective.
Yeah, Courtney, we kind of do the same thing. We have a general threshold of 40 hours that we keep in mind, but we manually make sure to add that. So everything comes in and then we decide by project for each person if we want to give them that project experience, even if it is under the threshold.
That's good. Awesome. Well, I want to respect everybody's time and keep this to our 30-minute mark. And just so you guys know, we have met as a team and are working on the calendar for 2022. So those dates will be up shortly. We are going to change the format of our user group call just slightly, and we're actually going to be having facilitated conversations around the book content. So there's 11 chapters of the book. So every month will be dedicated to a chapter. The first one is focused on people and process. So all the discussion will be around that. It's general topics enough that it's not like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't attend. I didn't read the chapter. Nothing like that. The second chapter is data-driven decision-making. I think any of us can attend that topic. So I don't think that it's anything specific where it's like, oh, don't show up because you didn't read or anything like that. But it will give us some structure for next year, which we're excited about. So there'll be a topic for every call. We're going to keep it whatever today is, the second Thursday or whatever the timing is, I think is the same, but we will have that up shortly for you guys to sign up for next year. And does anybody have anything before we jump off?
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I hope that you
much.
guys close out 2021 fantastic and have a wonderful start to 2022. And we will see you next year.
Thank you, Courtney.
Thanks,
everyone.
Courtney.